Hello, and welcome to Cricket News Live. We were going to go live anyways today, going to talk about IPL. But then something happened in the afternoon, something which people didn't expect. And if anyone says they expected it, they didn't really expect it to go the way that it did at the time that it did, because that's just not the MS Dhoni way, isn't it? We've got to surprise the people when they don't expect to be surprised. I'm Rahul Pandey, and joining me is Abhishek Mukherjee. Today, of course, going to talk about a very special human, a very special member, a very special cast of this Indian Premier League, who's been there right from the beginning and who has finally called it quits as far as his captaincy is concerned. And CSK, of course, giving that press release in the afternoon saying that Ravinder Jadeja will take over from MS Dhoni as CSK captain. And that means a lot of things. And of all those things, we will start by saying, Abhishek Mukherjee, first thoughts. Uh, did you really expect this to happen this season, given that we were just 2 days before this first match was played?
No, but then I have never predicted any of Dhoni's announcements throughout his
Who
career.
has? Yeah.
Troll media, troll the media. In 2014, I remember just before everyone was getting set for a New Year's vacation, leave,
Yeah.
bam, and you
Yep.
stay up all night making listicles and editing copies. And then
Yep.
in 2000s and 2016, he retires. He resigns as ODI captain. Late night, very late night, and then okay, evening shift people stay back, and
Yeah.
then there is night work all night, and then in 2020, right? He retires on 15th August, ruining everyone's holiday. So I think he probably likes trolling the media. But
Yep.
yeah, on this occasion at least, I mean, he just added, it was not a specific, nothing specific, not specific trolling. I guess age has
Yeah.
mellowed him.
But let's just take a moment to breathe all of this in. 14 seasons, 13 Final Four finishes. What, 13 Final Four finishes or 12 Final Four finishes? I guess because the two that he played with the Pune, out of them one he finished in the Final Four and one he did. Then what? We have nine finals and we have four titles.
Yep.
Now, for a mortal world as ours, this is going to take something really extraordinary to parallel, let alone eclipse, isn't it?
This is unlikely to be eclipsed anytime soon. I mean, I know Rohit Sharma also has a phenomenal record, but yeah, I mean, he started in 2012, 2012,
Yep.
right? So yeah, so that is 4 years after Dhoni.
Yeah.
So to emulate Dhoni, Rohit has to go on for 4 years, 4 more years. So yeah,
Yeah. And it's not just about winning the titles, isn't it? It's just about that word that we use a lot in sporting world as well, consistency. We talk about consistency with regards to a player, consistency with regards to a team, but this has been a system, isn't it? They have, now that it's been 14 seasons of IPL, when you look at CSK, when you look at the Dhoni mantra of captaincy, there's been a system to it, right? You trust your players and you give them ample amount of chances to prove themselves, and more likely than not they do that, and that's what's
yes,
been this magnificent reason behind their success.
and unless the two most successful teams in IPL history, um, Mumbai and Chennai, are also the ones that make least changes to the 11s.
Oh yeah. Yep, definitely.
Just because you lose 3-4 matches doesn't mean you drop players. Mumbai and Chennai have
Yeah.
both back their they understand the concept of being successful in the long run, and to find that success, you have to back your key players. And Dhoni has been doing that. Uh, Dhoni has done that for India,
Yeah.
and I think CSK. I mean, see. Uh, Dhoni and CSK, it is difficult to explain. I mean, it is. Let us understand this. 2008, IPL is launched with 8 teams.
Yeah.
Six of them. Uh, Mumbai has Tendulkar, Kolkata has Ganguly,
Yeah.
Bangalore has Dravid,
Yeah.
Punjab has Yuvraj, Delhi has Sehwag, Hyderabad has Lakshman. All six announced this one key player as their icon player. They will be there, they will lead the side, and they will earn 15% more than anyone else. They're the
Yeah.
most expensive player of that franchise. Now, Lakshman backs up. He said, I won't be spend that money on the others. But Lakshman is there. He had so six teams had one franchise. Six teams had one star player. Rajasthan
Yeah.
traditionally have not had a star player, so they got an overseas cricketer, a huge overseas cricketer.
Yeah.
Chennai got a cricketer from a state that is not known for, from a small state in terms of cricket back
Yeah.
then. In his
True.
his stint as captain of India had not even been a year. The
Yeah.
2007 T20 World Cup. Remember, 2007 T20 World Cup. Only after Tendulkar, Ganguly, and Dravid opted out, even then there were speculations whether Yuvraj should leave or Dhoni
Yeah.
should leave. So
Yep.
in the 2006-7 series, India played in South Africa. Lakshman was vice captain to Dravid. When Lakshman was replaced in England in 2007, months before the T20 World Cup, Tendulkar
Yeah.
was recalled out of nowhere to make vice captain to Dravid. So T20 World Cup 2007, Dhoni becomes captain. He wins the World Cup. Months after that, Chennai invest everything in Dhoni.
Yeah.
Dhoni was a nobody at that point. I mean, not a nobody, I won't say, but traditionally, how Indian cricket works, they
Yeah.
may give out caps to cricketers from small states, but rarely do they make them captain.
Yeah.
There have been counter examples. Kapil Dev was one, Vinu Mankad was one, but both these men had to establish themselves as the best, as among the best cricketer, as probably the best cricketer in the country when they led. Dhoni had not done that. Chennai saw that in Dhoni. Chennai invested
Yeah.
in Dhoni, and no team. I mean, when you see cricketers being celebrated in their cities,
Yeah.
Note, I mean, Tendulkar is a local of Mumbai.
Yeah.
Ganguly is a local in Kolkata. Them being celebrated is understandable. You hear of overseas cricketers. I mean, there's a road named after Marshall, Roy Marshall and
Yeah.
Malcolm Marshall in Hampshire. That is
Yeah.
possible because they
Yeah.
lived there for 6 months. You see that in football a lot because footballers are there in the cities all year round. Chennai's commitment is 2 months, less than that. It'll be
Yeah.
2 months a year. That is all Dhoni spends with Chennai every year. And for the last few months, for the last year, what he probably didn't play a match in Chennai. The year before that, the entire T20 World Cup was held in the UAE.
Yeah.
The year before that, they played in Chennai. The year before that, Chennai, after playing one match, the matches had to be moved to Pune,
Yeah.
Chennai's home matches. And the two
Yeah.
seasons before that, Chennai were not there. So in the last 6 seasons, Dhoni has played only one full season in Chippa. And you still see the craze for that man in the city. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's been
They don't. They
another
have
love
not.
story
They have
altogether.
basically not been able to see him play in front of I mean, at their home ground. It's not going anywhere. Chennai is feeling for Dhoni. It is very difficult to explain.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when you try and put the man into words, one of the things that you find out is, for most part of his career, he hasn't really shown his emotions, especially on camera, for most part of his career. But in those little parts that he has, CSK has featured quite a lot in those instances. I remember on this one summer of 2017, when I was just scrolling through my Instagram, I see this image where he's wearing just a plain yellow shirt with the number 7 and Thala written at the back of it. That was how he celebrated CSK sort of coming back into IPL next season when it was announced. And then you had that sort of pre-season launch event where CSK players attended that particular event, and when he was handed the mic, choked a bit, and that's something I haven't seen him do for the entirety of his career. So it really is a special relationship, not just from the fans to him, but also from him to the franchisee and to the fans, and that's what we've seen unravel over the years. But
Yes.
even beyond that, I mean, when
When
you look at his
TNPL was
effect.
launched,
Yeah.
when TNPL was
Yes.
launched, they got
Yes.
Dhoni.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes. Yeah. This was I guess during the last Women's World Cup.
Yes.
This was during the last Women's World Cup. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, but even when we talk about we of course talk about the relationship. We of course talk about what it has meant to him. But the 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 sort of impact, the sort of blueprint that he has left on this franchisee is really something to look forward to, isn't it? I mean, last
Absolutely.
auction, we got an idea as to, you can never really predict what CSK want going into the auction. They just picked out all of these, that dad's army is what they're called. But even this time around, when all of us thought, okay, now it's enough. It's time for some renovation now, more young players to come in. And what we saw in the auction was them again backing those players, and you wouldn't dare question them to repeat what they did last season, would you?
They back their old cricketers like no other side,
Yeah,
year after year. I told you, we discussed this. I mean, of the 11 men that one were in the World Cup winning side, were in the IPL winning side, they retained eight. Either retained them or brought them back from the auctions. The three they could
true.
not. For Hazelwood, they got Milne. For Faf, they got Conway. And for, I think they also missed Shardur. And there, I think Hangarvikar is going to be an excellent fit.
Yeah, we'll have to see
So they
how he.
basically either, if they cannot find get someone, they get someone to fit into
Yeah,
that role. And probably we may not see Dhoni feature in all matches, because I
yeah,
think I remember they went for Saha in the auctions. They probably even went for Karthik in the auctions. They did not get either. They have Conway, they have
yeah.
Raidu, they have Uthappa, and they have Jagdish. So
There's
I
quite a
think they
few
have a
wicket-keeping
side
options there.
for
Yeah,
2023, for which I think Dhoni may not play all matches.
yeah, yeah. But it's such an excellent sort of repeat of what we saw with Dhoni, the Test captain going away, and sorry, beg your pardon, Dhoni, the white ball captain going away. That is, he decided to stay with Virat Kohli for some time to ensure that kind of gets the feel of it. But it was already the red ball captain, but an incoming captain can only get benefited from the older captain, especially when you have a camaraderie like those two shared, Virat and Dhoni. And the same goes for, I guess, Dhoni and Jadeja, because the two have great mutual admiration for each other. We got one of those old MS Dhoni tweets digging up today where he said that God knew that I wouldn't be around for all this long time. That's why he created Lord Sir Jadeja. Beg your pardon, not Lord Jadeja. Uh, but yeah, I mean, of all the moments, let's talk a few moments that we have seen of Dhoni in yellow, because that's essentially what we are here to talk about. What's the first one that pops into your head?
Difficult. My memories of Dhoni, my strongest memories of Dhoni are mostly from the first hits. I mean, in the T20 World Cup, or in Australia, the baby series in Australia that followed, you got to see Dhoni, but the focus was generally on the team. You cannot remember India won a T20 World Cup, but you'll struggle to find a single MS Dhoni moment from that World Cup. So, have you noticed that?
Yeah,
Essentially, the in the IPL, There was a close match. I think Chennai's first match or second match, there was a close match, and Chennai needed to defend about 15, 16. I don't exactly remember remember how many they needed to defend in the last over. Guess who got the ball in the last over? Joginder Sharma.
That duo again.
you, you had to laugh, and again he
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
I mean, no, actually, there are moments. There are some. See, uh, Sunil Narayan never got getting going against Chennai as opening bat. This, despite the fact that Narayan is a better uh, attacker of spin than pace in the power play, Narayan seldom got going against Chennai. Dhoni probably got them to bowl to a different length or something. We can't tell that without ball tracking data, but yes, um, Dhoni changed a few notions. See, who else would imagine Badrinath and Murli Vijay as big hitters at the top in the power play overs?
Yeah.
I mean, uh, bowling you can still understand. Bowling changes. You can understand someone like Manpreet Goni rising through the ranks very fast. You can understand Chennai's strategy, the long drawn strategy that won them in 2010 and 11, the reliance on spin. So they found out a group of three spinners, Muralitharan, Ashwin, and Jakati, and then they had one all-rounder, Albi Morkel, and one pace bowler, Doc Bollinger. So their bowling attack was based around this unusual lineup, two very rarely heard of Indian spinners, and one Sri Lankan, one South African, one Australian. And they were and one Indian spinner was from Goa. So this strange group of five bowlers actually won Chennai and IPL. We discussed a
Yeah.
lot about the. I mean, one of them, of course. Murli was a legend. Would you back Albi Morkel, not Morny Morkel, Albi Morkel, Doug Bollinger, a young Ravi Ashwin, and Shadab Jakati to win you a tournament as a bowling attack? Would you
I mean,
back
not
them?
with the likes of bowlers that the other teams had during that time,
Yes,
if you remember
yes,
that season.
yes.
Yeah.
But then in wait, when was this? 2019, I think. 2019. Another thing that impressed me was a decade had passed, but they did not waver from this line of attack. So essentially, they had Deepak Chahar as the only seamer bowling match after match. Sometimes Dwayne
Yeah,
Bravo
quite a
bowled,
lot of numbers.
sometimes they didn't. And then they had this huge bunch of spinners from
At
Harbhajan
times,
and
even Shardul. At times, Shardul. Yeah.
yes, yes. But very rarely, Deepak Chahar was the only specialist seamer who was playing match after match. And then you had Harbhajan and Jadeja and Imran Tahir and the likes. And Chennai's strategy was built around, I think Kashi Vishwanath said this. We think of home and away. So Chennai looked at every league, every season as seven matches at home, seven matches away, and their aim would be to win seven matches at home. Now, other franchises have tried this, but no team has been as successful at home as Chennai.
Yeah.
And
True.
now, when I say this, depending on spin to win match after match after match, remember the perception of T20 when it started off. Remember the perception of T20. It was supposed to be, it was perceived as a team sport of dominated by, that was going to be dominated by young people, big hitters, and probably fast bowlers. Chennai
Yeah.
turned that theory on its head within the
True.
first 2 3 years and won two titles. It does not seem major, but Chennai Chennai Super Kings changed the entire perception of T20 cricket,
Yeah,
and there
yeah.
was this man at the center of it.
True. I mean, you just mentioned how
We
many
can think
times
of
he just banged on.
micro changes, but this was the large scale change that Chennai made.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's a subjective case study right there for those
Yes,
who are T20 enthusiasts who want to study the format and how it's changed over the years. This man will right be there in terms of a key orchestrator and how franchisee cricket can be perceived, how you utilize the resources at hand without looking for more at times. You talked about how he used Deepak Chahar in most conditions as his only seamer, and at times got done with all his overs in those first 8 overs in that
yes,
slot. That's what he has done quite a few occasions, and that really sent us here and there thinking what was he planning, but it worked most of the occasions. I remember another instance from the 2018 season, which was their comeback season, which they won. I don't know which team they were playing, but they were what something 27 down for three, chasing a good bit of total 150 or something, and then Dhoni sends in who? Uh, Harbhajan Singh and was it Deepak Chahar or Shardul Thakur to bat?
yeah, someone.
And they do contribute. They do stop the flow of wickets as they were going out in the power play. And CSK eventually wins it. At the end, he's asked during the during the post-match presentation that why would you do that? Why all of a sudden this change in the lineup? And he says that when there are usual batters out there, the bowlers definitely bowl the lines that they've planned. But when you send in someone from lower down the order, they lose control. It's all chaotic. They want to bowl in every line and length possible to get them out, and that's when you can bank upon them to sort of bring you runs, stop the flow of wickets, and then for the other batters to come in and do the job. These kind of things really make you think: has he ever stopped thinking about cricket on his off time? Because these are strategies that we never really heard about this format. Of course, the format in itself is a baby even now, but the things that we have seen with MS as a captain are stuff of beauty. Even his post-match presentations, that of course we're going to miss them, aren't we? It was just like learning from a master, talking about the game after it's done, and he was really unbiased in all those presentations. Remember the last presentation he gave uh, after the final, which is where he said that KKR deserved to win, given their performance that they had put in. So he was really not uh, he was really not being a CSK captain when he discussed the match after all that had happened. He was talking about the game as someone who loved to visualize and sort of see the nitty gritties of it. What do you think of MS Dhoni, the post match presentation speaker?
Uh, See, I really don't think Dhoni. I mean, Dhoni had a very, what do you say? The right word is probably wicked, a wicked sense of humor that has sometimes been misinterpreted. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I mean, he could come up with excellent comebacks. He
Oh
had those.
yeah.
He had the, yeah. So yeah, well, we
Kevin
are going
Peterson comes to
definitely.
mind instantly. Kevin Peterson comes to mind instantly when they had those mics on for players during the matches. That whole conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we are going to miss that. But I would really love to see Dhoni in the studio behind the microphone. But I don't think Chennai will let him
Come on.
do anything
Chennai.
else. Chennai will let him do anything else as long as he is around. I mean, he is going to mentor Chennai for years and years and years to come.
That brain needs to be utilized not
Yeah,
just by
yeah.
Chennai but by Indian cricket, and it can lead to good results if put in the right positions, which I'm sure we can see him in the upcoming years in these different roles. But really, what we're talking about here is one of the greatest franchisee cricket captains. Of course, it's not like he doesn't have a record outside franchisee cricket which he cannot boast, but just in this league, if you look at his effect, it's been tremendous now. And just when we thought that not watching Virat Kohli lead RCB is going to be okay. He's playing there, but he's not leading them. In came this MS
Okay,
Dhoni announcement.
let us check. 2019. Let's think of the captain. 2020. Let's think of the captains.
Yeah,
MS Dhoni, Chennai, gone.
true.
Virat Kohli, Bangalore,
Yeah,
gone. Shreya Iyer,
yeah,
Delhi, gone.
yeah,
KL Rahul, Punjab, gone. David
yeah,
Warner, Hyderabad, gone.
yeah.
So who are we left with? Rohit Sharma and Sanju
Rohit
Samson,
Sharma. Yep.
I suppose. That is it. Someone else? No idea.
When exactly was Sanju Samson given the captaincy?
That season, I think 2020,
In between, or was it in the beginning?
in the beginning.
Yeah, I can't really remember, but yeah, I mean,
Owen
that sort of
Morgan,
throws us back.
Kolkata, gone.
Yeah, you forgot that one. But yeah, two new franchisees as well. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens there. But
So
it's
the if you look at the captain's photographs from 2020 and
20.
2022, you'll see only Rohit Sharma and Sanju Samson. I mean, you'll see Shreya Iyer and KL Rahul in different clothing, but yeah. So
Tell me, as a Rajasthan Royals fan, you enjoyed saying that. I
I'm
mean,
not sure what to make of Sanju the captain. I like the
yeah,
fact that he has been back. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I think Rajasthan. I mean, he has got a team with in 2020 and 2021. He has got a team with
True.
very obvious weaknesses. But now I hope this is the strongest Rajasthan team since they
But
returned
yeah, we
from.
will not go too deeply into Rajasthan. That's something we'll talk about tomorrow, at the same time here. Another point I would want to discuss here, it's 2022. We were, of course, talking about a big IPL season to come. Two new teams added
We
up.
can discuss the former India under 19 captain Ravindra Jadeja.
We can, but before that, just before that, there's this little bit that we want that I'd want you to talk about, and that is going into this tournament. I thought it was incredible, and I think it was just this morning or last night when I was thinking it's incredible that at a time when the flow of runs in T20 is becoming anything, MS Dhoni was still there, very much there, as a captain who, even if he wasn't contributing on the grounds of being a batter, he was a good wicketkeeper, of course, was still there in the 11 as such a big influence, even with that brain of his and even with how he orchestrated that side, which was something incredible to me.
They also had a very good side. I mean, I typically do not overstate. I mean, I always believe that the strongest team wins. In cricket at this level, the captain cannot make a huge difference. He can make a
But even
difference,
then,
but not a
you're talking
huge
about
difference.
one full position. You're talking about one position. You
Yes,
can
yes,
have another
okay.
player who's in better form with the bat, maybe. But even
Yes,
then,
yes.
going
In
forward with that man,
2021, the two finalist teams had two non-performing captains. So the better side won. There's no doubt about this.
yeah, I remember the build up to that final in terms of both the captains and their records as well. But yes, it's
Yes,
been
but that is
such fun.
but that is just the final. CSK
Yeah,
did win the other matches under Dhoni. Let us not
yeah.
forget that. And
He
they
finished off a couple of games. He finished off a couple of games
and
with the bat.
remember there was at no point in the entire tournament when it did not seem that CSK will. I'm using too many negatives, right? Um, at every point throughout the league, it seemed that CSK were going to make it, even to the
Yeah,
top two.
yeah.
They were
Just
always
lost
a
that first
dominant
match.
side.
Just lost that first match against Delhi, and then they were on that winning streak in India leg. And then when they started off in
Number three
the
was
UAE,
Raina's position. They just
yeah,
used Moeen Ali.
yep, yep, brought him in, and it was sort of like a perfect replacement, even from the very beginning of the tournament. So yeah, that's been perhaps a mark of not just Dhoni's legacy, but CSK's legacy to this league. But we're going to talk about what's in the offering now that 2022, season 2022 is upon us. Ravindra Jadeja, the captain. I was just thinking it's incredible that of all the things that he already used to do on the field, he'll now also be the captain.
Yeah, former under
I mean,
19 captain, India under 19 captain, not Saurashtra under 19. The former India under 19 captain. He's led only
but
once,
what
but
do you
he
what
led
do you make
confidence.
of a Ravindra Jadeja who has, of course, over the years got that experience of international cricket, too much experience of international cricket, has exceeded all the thoughts in all the departments on the field, and is in the kind of form you can only dream about going into this season? What do you make of him?
I don't know. I think about 5 years ago when Jadeja took I think 11 wickets against England and Chennai in one of the Test matches.
Yeah,
Kohli may say he was player of the match, I think, or was it Karun Nair? This was the same Test match where Karun Nair scored the triple hundred. I remember Kohli saying something that with Jadeja, one responsibility is you always have to provide him with that confidence. You have to make him believe that he can. You have to constantly remind him. I don't know whether that holds even today, but captaincy, I hope, will take care of
yeah. There are a lot
it.
of experienced campaigners in that side, aren't they? It's not just like it's only Dhoni and Jadeja. A lot of experienced brains in terms of just the T20 format.
Not just experience. These people have a bunch of people who have been playing together
Yeah,
year after
yeah.
year.
That camaraderie, that chemistry on the field is of course important. Uh, but yeah, I'm pretty excited to watch Ravindra Jadeja. We were talking about this during the RCB versus CSK game in the India leg last time around, right? Jadeja with the bat, Jadeja with the ball, Jadeja in the field. He might as well have gone and kept the wickets that game. And as a captain, might as well do that, and he'll have an additional role to play here. Exciting times for CSK. I do believe that these are going to be it's going to be a good season. It's going to be a good season. They've had the right squad, and Jadeja, the captain, is just excitement on all grounds. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll be here to talk about that. And thank you so much, Abhishek Mukherjee. It's been a pleasure, as it always is, talking cricket with you. And it's been a pleasure talking about the man that we have seen in this league right from the very beginning. And we hope to see him do great things with the bat, great things with the gloves, as he might possibly call quits to his IPL story this season. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us at Cricket News. For more of cricket and for more of this content, stay tuned.